Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and today we've got a brand new reaction to new Skrillex, a new EP. I feel like we haven't got a Skrillex EP in a long time. Actually, while I'm just here, when was the last time we had a Skrillex EP? It was literally 6 years ago with the show track, technically, and before then was 2013's Leaving. My goodness, yes. This one actually kind of more aligns with the show tracks because this is I guess, the extended versions of a couple of the songs off of FU Skrillex, like You're Andy Warhol, But You're Not, because other than we got Fuse at the top of this track list, but then While You Were Sleeping and Move Ting and Hit Me Where It Hurts is kind of Zeet Noise, and then Voltage and See You Again in one. So this is like a weird, I guess, conglomerate of a bunch of different songs off of FUS that are more extended, I think, to some extent, but we are going to listen through them all right now in order. We're going to cut through some of the songs that are a little, just because of copyright stuff and because we've already listened through Fuse and Hit Me Where It Hurts. If you want those reaction videos, they will show up at some point in the corners. But yeah, so let's hop into it. The first track, we will listen to this again, Fuse, Skrillex, ISOXO. Let's do it. I still love this. I'm pretty sure this is Hazel's theme, I think, at least the melody off of that to some extent. And this song is, gonna make all the lists, all the year-end lists. I know, at the end of the year. I mean, nasty. Oh man, I forgot how much I missed those growls. The mega pre-drop. I love the subtle difference in just even that second note from the back half of the melody from the first half, the more like serene, beautiful first one to like a little bit more of a stylistic kind of second. Yes, that was Fuse, Skrillex, ISOXO, absolutely nuts track. That is just, I mean, we've talked about it so much, I feel like, already in the EDM space. If you need more to talk about it, I guess we can go watch my old video that originally talks about it. But yes, fantastic tune, a brilliant melding of old school kind of classic bro step with this, like, not quite trap, but at least trap aesthetic from ISOXO, at least with a big kind of, I don't even know what you like call them. Like they're just hard. Like I don't know how to describe those necessarily, but this melding of old. Although Skrillex is kind of the old, the past, the present, and the future, I guess a little bit. That Skrillex of the old, at least to some extent, and the ISOXO of the new kind of coming together for just an absolutely fantastic tune. But we've talked about that a ton, so let's move on to the next track. And a new track, Skrillex, Virtual Riot, and Nikisha, While You Were Sleeping, which was indeed off of FUS, FU Skrillex, Think You're Andy Warhol, But You're Not. So I'm assuming this is a longer extended version because this is 4 minutes. This is the longest version or longest song of this EP. So let's hop into this and see how different this is from the version we have on the mixtape. Let's do it. We're like already jumping into things right away. Got a bit of that Xena vibe. I swear that's the same, at least sample or sound used off Xena. Like that. Who even is Nikisha? Do we know? Their only songs are the Skrillex ones. Okay. all gonna have this kind of techno aesthetic to it? Because that would be wild if Skrillex dominated techno. Only halfway done, okay. I'm gonna guess we're not gonna do a ton different based off what we got from Hit Me Where It Hurts. I was wrong? Okay. I admit my mistake.
Get away from her, you.
Like playing Call of Duty at the end here. What a wild way to end that song. While you were sleeping, okay, the second track here. This now makes me feel like the rest of this EP is going to be this kind of hard groove techno, this kind of, techno, tech house, hard groove, whatever you really want to call it. This just more just club-centric, real high quality, consistent beat, heady production, infectious melody kind of vibe from the rest of this EP is where my guess is it's going to go, at least the rest of these with Fuze, I guess. But I really enjoyed that. I think this is great. I definitely got not betrayed, but I thought wrong on the second drop. I thought it was going to be a lot more of the same, and it was not quite. So that was fun, but really, really strong. Like it's so funny to me that techno, considering how I know this is like a different breed of techno, a different like subgenre of techno, but how techno as a whole, melodic techno is so in the cultural, I guess, lexicon of EDM and just like this, it's kind of dominating the space, at least even commercially. And for Skrillex to go like, hey, you guys know this genre over here that I've never really touched that you guys all like right now. Yeah. I'm gonna come do that, and I'm gonna do it better than anyone else. Which is, I mean, it feels like Skrillex at his prime. So, let's move into next track, Move Ting, Skrillex, Moody Good, and Nikisha. Here we go. Is this gonna be trap? Meow purr. Nope. Where are we going?
Everything crisp and everything. Everything crisp and everything.
What is this song? It's like a Halloween song. Halloween Skrillex. Oh. Holy goodness. Oh, I'm afraid to even guess where we're going on this drop now. What? 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 It's like funk Caracau, like holy, that was a wild song. Move Ting is not what I expected in any capacity. That was nuts. That was just crazy. I cannot believe that is a song that exists now from Skrillex. That is just like, it's like a mixture of a show-off song, but also this just like, I'm gonna go nuts, and you're just gonna be along for the ride, and you're like strapped into a chair of a roller coaster. You just go, but you're blind. You have no idea where it's going, and that came so to left field. I don't know if I loved it. I will say that to some extent. I think it's a solid song, but I definitely don't think it's nearly as strong as Fuze's or even While You Were Sleeping. That one is a little bit of a harder listen to. I think listen to time and time again. That just has, it's so dense and so just full of everything of beat switches, of insane production elements, of just these like vocal, I don't even samples, these like vocal chants just out of nowhere, of just like this move, bitch, and just like all the things happening at once. So wild song, and that is Move Ting. So let's move on, though. This is one we have heard already. This is Hit Me Where It Hurts, Dylan Brady, Caroline Polachek, and obviously Skrillex. Here we go. Yeah, see, this is what I thought was going to be more of this, or all of this, like, techno. We've already had some time to sit with this song, because it was obviously released earlier as a single, and I have more thoughts on it, but also less. It's a really interesting tune, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just a fascinating style that Skrillex has this like progressive techno to it, because it really has, we don't hear this kind of progression in a Skrillex song that is like layer by layer in a way a progressive house song would be. Like it establishes something and then builds and then builds and then builds. Skrillex doesn't do that. He's lots of big movements and waves, and so it's really interesting to hear a naturally progressing song from Skrillex. Because I love this finale. It is fantastic because of what it's built upon. I love the vocal stuttering. The sound design is just immaculate on this record. The song. But yes, Hit Me Where It Hurts, Skrillex, Dylan Brady, Caroline Polachek. Again, the kind of, I guess, second single from this EP. I did mention it when we were listening to the song, but I feel like it's worth repeating. This is such a fascinating song because of how it is a naturally progressive song in general, and Skrillex doesn't really do that in a way that, or the reason songs are called like progressive house something is because it establishes something and then builds and builds and builds in a fairly linear fashion, where Skrillex is typically has these big ebbs and flows, these big rises and falls and crashes, and Skrillex, it did a very linear thing, and it kind of established a beat and then brought it up another level and another level and then the finale, and it's really interesting actually just to hear Skrillex tackled this more progressive song structure to some extent. So the song's grown on me since it first came out. I didn't know how I really felt on the first round, but I am feeling pretty positively on this track. I'm enjoying it. I still, like, not as much as like a Fuse, and I think While You Were Sleeping I still enjoy it more, but I think it's a solid tune. I wish there was more Caroline Polachek and it wasn't just a sample from, I guess, 6 years ago to some extent, but we got. So, but yes, here is our final song, and the one I am most excited for. This is Voltage / See You Again with like all of the people on this one again. What is this? Skrillex, The Varg 2, Eurohead, Loam, Sweetum, Virtual Riot. It's pretty much everyone that was kind of on FU Skrillex is kind of on this one too. So this to me is going to be a wild ride. Let's see how it is. This is Voltage. See You Again. I'm assuming this is going to be the big bro step track as Voltage is from FU Skrillex. So. I just know this is going to build up some wild drop as we're getting already. Oh, whoa. Okay. Cool. This song's like I'm on a ride already. Oh, whoa, that was some crazy panning. And this nice, like, piano melody in the back? What? Not what I expected. Not what I expected. That's fun. It's love the piano finale. Okay, Voltage, See You Again. See You Again has to be there because this is a very different song than Voltage that was nominated for a Grammy. So these are two very, very different songs. It'll be funny if this one is nominated for 2027's Grammy Awards. That'll be funny. But yes, this is, again, not what I expected. So much to the point that I was maybe a little let down. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe because I had my expectations way high because just the name brand of Voltage there. Because this is more, again, a more techno-leaning version of parts, I guess, of songs that we got from earlier from FU Skrillex. It's almost like he took the crazy mixtape nature of that whole album, this like weird DJ mix, this kind of really abnormal structure for a record to be released within, and then pulled out like little parts of it and then put it into this kind of more just techno-leaning project that is more atoned with and attuned to the modern EDM landscape that loves techno. So this feels like a really just smart move on Skrillex's part of just noticing where culturally I think EDM is, and I would say also the techno is kind of on the downturn. I'm hoping so a little bit, at least the really commercial melodic techno stuff that I think is just boring now, and branching into something different. And I mean, we saw with Quest for Fire this new kind of sound, this new wave of production for at least a couple of years there. And so I'm curious to see if this will shift techno or almost like end techno to some extent. Like, to me, this would be a perfect, like, I know it's not like this in any cultural zeitgeist thing, but this would be a perfect end stamp to techno for me. Like, this would be like yes, we have Skrillex did it and he ended it and he went in on a great note. It wasn't like whoa, this is the greatest techno in the world. But like, this is like, yes, we are done with this. Let's move on to some extent. So yeah, I don't know how this turned into a techno rant of sorts. But yeah, fascinating project that just has this like, it's classic high quality Skrillex. It's classic well put together, well pieced together, well intentioned piece of music that feels very like meticulously thought over, but also has this edge to it that is just a little bit more on the like go with the flow. This like not too like let's make sure this is like everything is in its perfect little details, but putting something together that feels natural, I would say, for at least a Skrillex type of project. So it's probably his most like steady, I think, EP to date, or even album record. Like across all of his EPs and albums, I feel like this is probably the most like steady, which is just a wild thing to say. Maybe that's because there's just more of a basic 4 on the floor beat, and it's not so much your big heavy bro step. But this feels like a really fun. I don't know if this is going to be like a new brand for Skrillex or just like a detour of sorts, but this feels like a great at least stop on the road, however long we're going to be here. So I'm feeling this. I'm digging this. I am so curious to know what the future holds for even more Skrillex stuff, because I mean, where's Contra? Where's Skrillex? Where's these other 2, I guess, full albums that were teased 3 years ago now, or 2 years ago now? So just where is Contra? Where is Skrillex still? So I guess time will tell. But I'm so curious to hear what you guys have to say on this EP. Hit me where it hurts. Do you think this is some of Skrillex's best? Do you think it's somewhere not like that? Is it somewhere in between? I'm curious to hear all thoughts in the comment section below. But other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.